Well, the Tampa Bay Rays are on a little bit of a roll here. Another win, this time on the road against the Minnesota Twins.
A feel-good win to start the week is amazing. Let's get started right now.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we are the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays. You can also find us on all the other social media platforms, Instagram and X, and the traditional podcast is also on all other platforms too. If you want to reach out to us, lockedonrays@gmail.com. If you have a mailbag question, comment, concern, hot take, whatever it may be. Well, the Tampa Bay Rays take down the Minnesota Twinkies by a score of 7-4. The Rays improved to 89-56 on the year. The Twins fall to 75-69 on the year. So Tampa Bay inching closer to that 90W mark. Question, will they get to 100 dubs?
Ooh, I did not see this question coming in, Kevin.
I figured I would come out hot and bring it up. I mean, they're 11 away. And I phrased it not can they, because of course
they can.
They can, but will they?
11 out of 17, so they have to go 11-4, and their schedule, so people can actually play along with us. Their schedule looks 2 against Minnesota, 4 against Baltimore, 3 against Angels, 3 against Toronto, 2 against Boston, 3 against Toronto. The answer is no. They cannot win 11 out of 17. Or no, sorry. They will not win 11 out of 17. They can, but they're not going to. Now, if I'm looking at it in a very positive view, I can say you take down Minnesota. So you take 1, then let's say 3. That's 4 wins, 5-6 wins against Angels. 7, 8, 9. I think 9 is, instead of 11, you get to 9.
So 9 more, they would have 98 wins?
98 wins.
Pretty darn good. Well, I'll tell you this. If the Rays put up offensive numbers like they did last night, 13 hits, 7 runs, Yandy Diaz getting 4 hits, a triple away from the cycle. Taylor Walls going deep. And I should also note Yandy Diaz, congratulations to him getting his 20th homer of the year. If we see offensive production like that and maybe some trickery or having a guy do what he should be doing, i.e. Vidal Bruján laying down bunts on the right side, that should be part of his repertoire. That should be part of his gameplay. Then the Rays might be in good shape down the stretch, despite the injuries and absences they've experienced of late. And there's another that we'll probably get to at some point in this episode too.
And, the thing is, when you talk about the bullpen is stable right now. We mentioned that last week. You talk about the offense, they've been on a roll. The last 4 games, which they've won, they've scored 6 or 7 runs in each game. The stretch run is coming. The starting pitching just needs to give us a little bit of length in order for me to be feeling 100% confident. Right now, I'm like a 90% confidence. If you want 100, then I need to see. Okay, we saw 6 from Glass. Can I get now the next, a 7 from Savali, a 6 2/3 from Eflin? I need that to be 100% confident. But the team is rolling right now, and they're doing great. I think if we just start off with Glasnow, that one pitch, man, to Royce Lewis, definitely want to get that back. But he pitched really well, and I know that the line seems sloppy with the 6 innings and the 4 earned runs, but I think he pitched better than that line.
Yeah. And again, I mean, the team was still in the game at that point. So you go deep enough, 6 innings, and let the bullpen clean it up from there. Kevin Kelly, Jake Diekman, and your boy Pete Fairbanks, which I've got another follow-up question. So Pete Fairbanks getting his 23rd save of the year. Will he get to 25 saves on the year?
Yes, I do believe that. Yeah, 25. Yeah. I thought you were going to be gung ho and put that 3-0, and I was going to say, Kevin,
that'd be
come on.
something. Yeah, we would probably not have any. Well, I would just say that there would be some stressful moments that would be taking place over the last couple of weeks of the season if Fairbanks was put in that many save situations.
By the way, they have 17 games left, 11 to get to 100. I said they're going to get to 98 with 9 wins, which, it's an amazing feat. How do you see it laying out with 17 games left?
No, I think that's fair. I don't think they're going to get quite to 100, but I would hope that over the next 17 that, you get 9, 10, 11 wins, something like that. I think just under 100 is probably what they're going to wind up doing just based on the schedule and opponents down the stretch. Again, if they're facing the Athletics or the Royals or another crap team, but you've got a lot of other teams down the stretch of the schedule here that are playing for something and also want to make some noise as well. And I think it's also, something has to be said, and you have to wonder if, the Rays certainly want to try to win the division, but you also have to be mindful of making sure guys are rested and ready to go. And there's some whatever it is, what's the term that they use in the NBA?
Load management.
Some load management before the playoffs.
I see where you're coming from, and you know exactly where I'm going with this, Kevin. I don't need to see excessive load management. I need the guys to start the game. If you want to take them out in the 6th or the 7th, fine. They need reps. You cannot make the same mistake that you did in 2022. Randy not hitting, Yandy not hitting, Harold not out of the lineup. Like, that is not okay. Yeah. Kevin Cash, I know you're a fan of the show. Listen to us. Please do not make the same mistake twice. That would be a detriment for these guys, timing wise. You got to get them in the game. You want to give them some rest, fine. They make it like a spring training game. You get 2.5 at bats per game, and then you sit on the bench and you cheer for the guys. That's it.
Yeah. And for the most part, these guys are spring chickens. They're not the Yankees where everybody on the roster is, 33, 34, 35 and doesn't have any flexibility, or they're just not on their last leg, but they're not as spry as they were when they were 24, 25, 26, 27, whatever it may be. We have more to discuss, but first we have to tell you this. As you surely know, the MLB playoffs are around the corner, which means the clock is ticking on your chance to 100 times your cash on daily fantasy baseball. Baseball has never been more exciting than it is now, with studs like Acuna, Betts, Ohtani. We can throw Yandy Diaz onto the list as well. Pick more or less on stats for these stars like home runs, hits, strikeouts, and more. Here's the thing. With Sleeper, you can get up to a 100 times payout. Just make your picks right, and you could win big. So use promo code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. Be sure to see Sleeper's terms of use for details and all that. Go there today. It's a really cool fantasy baseball app, Sleeper. There it is. Okay. Want to mention this, some unfortunate news from the game. Jose Siri is going to be out for some extended time after getting hit by a pitch. And that's, one of the last things that the Rays need, because Manny Margot is already on the IL. The Rays are dealing with other injuries up and down the roster, but I think there's certainly going to be a void with the absence of Jose Siri based on everything that he brings to the table, from the power to the speed to the defense, to the way he plays, bringing some energy, excitement, and enthusiasm, just a spark overall. And, if you probably talk to and interview the pitchers, be it a starter or reliever, there's probably a little bit of wonderment of, man, I felt so calm, cool, and collected when Jose Siri was rolling out in center field. I could get away with pretty much anything. And now it's not going to be the case, because you're going to be rolling out, because you don't have Margot. You're going to be rolling out a third string, fourth string, really a guy who's not accustomed or prepared or should be a center fielder will have to get center field reps, be it Josh Lowe, Luke Raley, Vidal Bruján, whatever.
Yeah, you're going to see definitely a downturn in defensive prowess from the center field position. You're probably going to see a lot of Luke Raley / Josh Lowe, and I feel like those are capable corner outfielders. But when you put them in center field, that's a little different. And now I'm thinking you're going to see, obviously, Randy in left, probably Luke Raley in center more than likely, and then Josh Lowe in right field. And then what are we talking? Who do you? Okay, question.
Yeah,
if you need one spot, do you give it to Bruján so that he can have his glove out there, speed, but you have his bat in the lineup? Or you sacrifice the defense, you put Harold Ramirez in a corner outfield spot like right field, but you have his bat in the lineup? I want to hear people in the comments before Kevin answers. I want to hear people in the comments. What would you rather have? Harold in right field, but with his bat, or Vidal Bruján in center field with his glove, but his bat in the lineup? Kevin, what do you say?
True, that's tough. And I hate to give a non-answer to this question, but I do think it depends on the matchup and who the Rays are facing and who's on the mound. Like, do you have a guy on the mound that is not going to give hits up to the corners or to where Harold would be playing? Now, I'll say this. If we see more of this Vidal Bruján bunting action, I'm all for that. But generally speaking, especially as we're going into the playoffs, I'd much rather see more Harold Ramirez than Vidal Bruján in any case or situation. But going beyond this, I think it could have a little bit of a domino effect, in the sense of, we had mentioned it in the last segment, you want these guys to get reps. You want these guys to get gameplay. You want these guys to get action and be ready, comfortable, and confident for a playoff run. Well, Jose Siri really isn't going to get any action until he gets to the playoffs. So how cold is he going to be? Is he going to be ready? Is it going to be like drinking from a fire hose? And sometimes it takes guys several at-bats, several weeks to get back in the groove. I think the defense will travel, the defense will play, but as far as doing things offensively, that could be a little bit more of a challenge. And also tied into that, you have a guy who's not used to playing as much center field, or multiple guys, be it Josh Lowe, Luke Raley, Vidal Bruján. That's another thing that they have to focus on and think about and draw attention to. How does that impact them at the plate and in other aspects? We talk about the pressure of what position you're playing defensively and how it can impact the rest of your game. Again, Exhibit A here with Yandy Diaz. He moves away from third base to first base. I don't think it's all coincidence that he's having a career year this year. I think there's some other factors too. He's finally a little bit more healthy, and he's got that contract, which allows him to really settle in and be comfortable. But I think just the stress of a position defensively can be an added weight, if you will.
Yeah, and we all know that Siri's already a wild guy at the plate, and it has served him well in the power department, right. But the on base is like a 280, man. Like so you're talking a guy that will not be swinging a bat for 3 weeks to go into the playoffs. He's no Yandy Diaz. Like, Yandy Diaz did not play for 2.5 months. In his first 2 at bats in the playoffs, he goes Oppo Taco twice.
Yeah.
That's Yandy Diaz. That's not Jose Siri. Jose Siri needs timing. He needs, to shorten that swing. He's going to be wild. So you can expect pretty much not a lot of it offensively.
You could expect, you could expect Brandon Lowe type of production from Jose Siri in the playoffs offensively, because not only I think he could be pressing and chasing and finding his groove again, but his power may be sapped to some extent in recovering from that injury. So he may not even bring that element to his game that we're so used to seing. So
which has been his calling
a
card.
250 on base percentage guy that's hitting for no power.
Exactly. So I don't, this is a not so great news for the Rays that he's going to be missing this amount of time. And you're right. Like you might be expecting that was a great way of saying it. Brandon Lowe type of production in October. Hopefully that turns around for Brandon this year. But yeah, you don't put Jose Siri in your October plans as this guy in the lineup obviously is going to produce. Like, don't do that anymore. You can't do that anymore. Don't play games with yourself. Don't play games with others on that end. But I do want to say I am shifting a little bit to talk to Vidal Bruján. Glad that my man's listening to Locked On Rays. We mentioned it last week. Please, how can you not bunt first and third with your abilities? How can you not bunt, Vidal? Vidal said, Ulises, Kevin, I got you. Next time I will. Guess what? Yesterday evening, he does that. And guess what? That's what... Use your skills. You don't have to be anybody else. Something that Kevin Kiermaier did not learn until his last year with the Rays. Like, dude, Kiermaier, you're not a power hitter. Stop looking for home runs. Use your wheels. That's what you have to do. Vidal Bruján, that's what you got to do. You have the softest exit velocity in the majors. You have like the second lowest WRC plus since you debuted in the major leagues. Like, perhaps do something else instead of doing the same thing and keep getting the same result. Isn't that insanity? The definition of insanity. Keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result. Dude, do something else. Boom, bunting. Yes, give me more of that, Vidal. Give me more of that. You're not getting paid there to drop bombs. Okay, that's other people's jobs. Your job is to use your speed, your contact skills, and you push down a run. Fantastic. Great job, Vidal.
Yeah, you got to do more of that. You've got to bring more to the table than, hey, I can play 4, 5, 6 different positions. I can go from second base to third base to shortstop to right field. And if you're going to play those different positions, you need to at least be serviceable at them as well. So I think it's just a case of, how long did it take Kevin Kiermaier for him to realize that he can't or shouldn't be a swing for the fences guy? I don't know. It took him till the end of his days in a Rays uniform. It took him a decade basically. So maybe it's a good sign for Vidal that we're starting to see more of this angle from him, and maybe it'll be a focal point in the offseason as well, because you got to do something. If the traditional swinging follow through bat isn't working, you got to find a way to get on base somehow, some shape, some form, whatever it may be. And going back to Jose Siri for a second, even if his bat doesn't carry in the playoffs, we know the defense should. So hopefully, if it is a case of him having a Brandon Lowe-esque postseason appearance or showing, then the range will still be there. The arm strength will be there. Maybe he saves several runs, gets several outs above average in his action. I will say that for all his faults and flaws at the plate and what could be in his return, he doesn't seem like a guy that will shy away from the moment in the atmosphere of the playoffs, unlike others. So maybe he has that going for him. And again, maybe he gets hit by another pitch, or in a alternate universe draws a walk and he can steal second and third and get home a different way. So there's multiple ways to skin a cat there as well. But the strikeout percentage probably isn't going to look too good. The walk percentage probably isn't going to look too good. The chase percentage isn't going to look too good. The whiff percentage isn't going to look too good. So just want to forewarn you all of that. We have more to discuss, Ulises, but first we have to tell the audience about something extremely, extremely important.
And that is that the Rays have one more homestand, 3 games against the Angels, 3 games against the Toronto Blue Jays. And maybe you want to have some opportunity to see the Rays for a last time in the 2023 MLB season. Hey, guess what? Go to Game Time. Download the Game Time app because Game Time is the place for last-minute ticket deals. You can get exclusive flash deals on, besides baseball. Football is starting. I know people are excited about that. Kevin's Colts are going to be playing very soon, right? Are they doing okay, the Colts?
They lost their first game to the Jaguars. Anthony Richardson, the rookie first-rounder top draft pick out of Florida, looked like the savior.
Okay.
So they look better, I think, than in years past. The Buccaneers got a win with Baker Mayfield at the helm. Nobody expected that. So things could be rolling along here.
Well, you can see all of these guys that Kevin just mentioned that, of course, I know, using the Game Time app. So, it's the fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason. You can get images of your seat before you buy, which is fantastic. So you can get already a view of what to expect when you arrive. And when you buy the tickets, it's a matter of seconds and they're sent directly to your phone. So you don't have to dig through your email. So today, snag the tickets without the stress. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and as you can see on the screen, if you're on YouTube, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, just create an account. It's super simple. It takes you 30 seconds to do, and you can use redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Speaking of homestands, did you not go to a Rays game this past weekend?
I did, and it was the Saturday walk-off victory with Yandy going oppo, and it was such an awesome game, man.
Was that the Venezuelan Heritage Day?
Indeed. I was a little bit too late on the Venezuelan Heritage tickets, but a mutual friend of ours who will remain unnamed on the show, he came through. He came through clutch, and he gave me a couple of tickets that were just awesome. So thank you to him. I said thanks to him on Monday's episode. I will say it again. Thank you.
But you did not wind up with a hat.
I did not wind up with a hat. And I asked the customer service reps, but
I'll buy one. I'll pay $60 for a hat like that.
I was like, I will give Stu Sternberg money in his face right now.
You will give him $600 million to do with what he wants.
I know these cost you $2 to make. I will give you $60, please. But apparently, they go with the ticket sales. But if I can have a little parentheses here for people that do like hats. So I was in one of my days in Tokyo. I was walking around, of course, doing the 20,000 steps a day plus. And then I was into the Shibuya district of Tokyo, and I see this huge MLB cap store. I'm not going to go in Tokyo. Let's go. I'm going in. So I go in, and they have every MLB team. Awesome. The normal hats. And then there was a special edition for certain teams. And I was like, oh, please let there be some Ray stuff here. And boom, I see this beauty. I see this beautiful hat. And I tell the guy, hey, is this new or something? And the guy goes, actually, we have a deal with MLB, this Tokyo store, that there's a special edition so that this is actually the only store that is holding these types of hats currently in the world.
Wow.
Okay.
That's amazing. So you got the hat, I presume.
So you tell me I'm going to possibly be the first Tampa Bay resident that buys a hat about the Tampa Bay Rays in Tokyo, and I'm not going to buy it? I'm not going to be the first guy? Please. And then I said to him, when did these come out? He said, yesterday. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
Say less. I'm buying this damn hat. So this is what this hat looks like.
Got to see this. Only if you're watching on YouTube. That is pretty neat. That's almost like a creamsicle Buccaneers flair to it to some extent.
Dude, yes. It is such a beautiful hat. I am just in love with this. I used it on the Saturday game.
Very
Just,
cool.
oh, love it. So there you
I'm
go.
surprised nobody asked you that, hey, where'd you get that hat? How can I cop that hat?
That's right. That's right. They should have, and I would have
Yeah.
told them the story, and they would be like, "No, you're lying." And I was like, "No, I'm not lying."
The only issue, of course, is you did not show the audience under the lid. It actually has Yoshi Tsutsugo's signature there, so it puts a little bit of a black mark there. But regardless, still a really cool hat.
Yeah, no, it was great. I was like, okay, and then they had everybody, but certain teams had that new little addition, so that was cool. I had to
Very
get it.
cool.
Yeah.
All right, tonight we have Zach Littell going up against Joe Ryan. Don't cry now, Rays fans, but Joe Ryan is on a roll. 141 innings pitched, 169 strikeouts, a 1.12 whip. He gets guys to chase like crazy. He doesn't walk anybody. He strikes out guys like crazy. Of course, he was the guy that the Rays gave up along with Drew Strotman to acquire Nelson Cruz at the trade deadline a couple years ago. The 27-year-old is certainly having a year for him, but hopefully Zach Littell can battle mano y mano.
Yeah, hopefully, and what's the saying? Can't cry over spilled milk.
Yeah,
spilled milk. Meet Joe Ryan, and that's look, it sucks, but we did have that was the right. I will forever say that was the right move.
Just the excitement factor alone and being able to acquire Nelson Cruz at the trade deadline, and I think he provided a lot more than just what his box score numbers suggest. It definitely led. It was a point where, wow, the Rays actually went out there and did something, and he did provide some value for sure.
And BT Dubs here. People forget. People are like, "Oh, he was already washed, man." He was an all-star that year, people. Yeah. He had 19 or so bombs before the all-star break. So let's stop the narrative. Let's change. Let's stop changing history. Like, he was not washed. They got an all-star. Yeah, was he older? Of course he was, but he was still producing. So who cares? So I just wanted to say that a little bit because I think people have been changing their narrative, like, oh, we just got to wash Nelson Cruz. Like, no. He got washed with us.
Yeah. And he did hit 13 homers in 55 games.
Yeah, nothing to sneeze at. Nothing to sneeze at. So, and a big one in the playoffs. But yeah, after that, pretty much silent. But again, Joe Ryan, good for him. Awesome that he's doing well. Hopefully the Rays can get to him early and so that we can all breathe a little bit deeper, get that series win. And if we get that series win, our crossover with Brandon Warren will be much smoother because we will be recording with him a crossover episode for Wednesday's episode, and that should be really fun. And it's always fun to be on the winning side of a crossover, people. So let's hope for that.
That would be nice for sure. All right. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you tomorrow.